Hello and welcome to a Source Gaming discussion. I'm your host NantenJex, and joining me today is the real hero of wins. Hello.
Hello.
So I brought Hero on to talk about everything Kingdom Hearts 3 because it's quite a hyped game that I think everyone was looking forward to. It's the end of the Xehanort saga, and both Hero and I have completed it, and we have our thoughts on the game, both positive and negative. So I thought I'd just start by going over our brief histories with Kingdom Hearts, just so that everyone who's listening knows what it's been like for us. And why don't you start with that, Hero?
So, like, my history with the whole Kingdom Hearts series, my brother originally owned the game on PlayStation 2, and then that was passed on to my sister, so I saw her play it. She kept, I don't know why, but, like, her first definition of it was like, oh, it's like chess. No, it's definitely not like chess.
There's a lot of chess symbology.
Yeah,
there's a lot of chess symbolism in the newest one, so maybe she was right the whole time.
Three. But like, I always thought, hey, Disney characters in Final Fantasy, this seems stupid. And to be fair, it still kind of is. But the gameplay's fun. That's always usually what I kind of stayed for. I slowly got attached to the story. I was like, whoa, it's still no better. But yeah, the first one I beat was 2 actually, and then I beat 3, and then I went through the rest of the series. No, not 3. The first one was the second one I beat, and then I went through the rest of the series.
Okay. So for me, it was I'd seen a friend play Kingdom Hearts 1, specifically the section where Sora loses his Keyblade and Beast appears. And I was like, oh, this seems interesting. What is this weird Disney RPG game? And then years later, I didn't even know what it was called. I saw Kingdom Hearts 2 in a shop, second hand, and I was like, I think this was the game he was playing, so I picked it up. Played through the whole of Kingdom Hearts 2, that was my first one, and beat it without ever finding that Beast scene and realising it must have been the first game. But I really enjoyed it. And so over time, I slowly went back and I played the first game. I somehow got my hands on a copy of Chain of Memories to play that, and then bought 358 over 2 days when that came out. Missed Birth by Sleep for ages, and I still haven't played Recoded. But I was like really not like, I wouldn't call myself like a major fan. I wasn't buying every game as they came out. I didn't buy Dream Drop Distance on the 3DS. I only got it when I got the collection last year with 2.8. But I was I quite liked the gameplay, especially 2. 2 was really good. I liked the idea of going and visiting all the Disney worlds. I thought that was really fun. And I slowly got invested into the story, even if it was like ridiculously absurd. And
yeah, I think I can relate with you. I skipped Recoded. I didn't play 358. I just knew this base story of 350 is like, oh, this little puppet girl. It's like, oh, okay.
So I started the story of 358 and then stopped because I got bored. And then on a flight, I decided to pick it back up again. And I started getting into it a bit more, and then eventually managed to finish it. So that was good. But Recoded, I never saw any benefit in playing that game.
I heard they like digitized the journal or something. I don't even know what that means.
Wow. That's going to be a common theme, I think.
Yeah.
They're talking about this. No, Recoded, I know what the story is. Yeah, they're trying to figure out why Jiminy's journal is empty. And so they digitize it and make a digital version of Sora who goes through all of the basically Kingdom Hearts 1 again.
Yeah, it's like, what?
And pretty much all they discover is that Sora has some hidden data inside of him, and also Maleficent is looking for something. And then that's it. That's like the only things you need to get out of that game.
Yeah.
But, alright. So, is it fair to say that you were excited about Kingdom Hearts 3, or was it just something that you were you wanted to try out just because?
Oh, trust me, Kingdom Hearts 3 was a thing to look at for a while. Like, I started looking at when it was first revealed at E3 2013. That's still crazy to think about. 6 years since even that. So it's still a wait in between. Then we had 3 HD collections released. I guess 4 if you count the 1.5 and 2.5 combo. But
I
like,
just have that.
it was a lot to wait through, and like you see like how the style has changed like throughout, because there's one where like everything was like really purple, blue, and all that, and then we slowly got into like the more Pixar-ish look that Kingdom Hearts 3 has kind of kept with.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I've been kind of looking into it. It's like, hey, this seems like it's gonna be real good.
Yeah, and so we're gonna start by talking more spoiler-free stuff for those who don't want to be spoiled on the story. So I think we'll focus a bit more on the gameplay, because I played Dream Drop Distance only a few months ago, because it was the only one I needed to play in anticipation for Kingdom Hearts 3. And I personally think that the gameplay in Kingdom Hearts 3 is actually like really solid. Like, I actually think the fighting and the combat system in this one is far more intuitive and fast-paced than the combat system of any of the previous games, personally. And I quite like how you can swap between different keyblades, and each keyblade has a different transformation that gives it like a somewhat unique moveset, even if they are categorized into magic, physical, and then shooting ones. I found that it was a lot simpler to jump between using the right magic you wanted to use, and there's also the summoning, but I rarely ended up using the summoning. I often forgot it was there. But I will criticize one thing, that it can get a little repetitive. It's the same. I feel like it's the same in all Kingdom Hearts games. The combat can get a little samey after a while.
Yeah, so I kind of argue with you completely on the combat.
Okay.
It's an argument you see everywhere. With the latest Kingdom Hearts games, everything feels really floaty. And you especially notice this when you're in like the frozen world. There's a lot of enemies that are up in the air, and you stay in the air for ages.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot more aerial combat in this game than the previous ones. But I think that's part of like that sort of action flow that Nomura's trying to go for. I mean, he was trying to do it with Final Fantasy 15, and Dream Drop Distance kind of had it with the flow motion attacks. And this is like the culmination. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I mean, if most of the enemies are in the air, then obviously fighting in the air is the best sort of tactic to go for.
Yeah, but I feel like when you attack in the air, you take ages to like get back to the ground. That was a problem with 2. 2 is kind of too floaty, but 2 was still fine. I know people still like praise 2. Birth by Sleep was super floaty, almost unplayable. The only thing that kind of saved it was the command attacks. Dream Drop Distance is super floaty, but like they really pushed for that with the whole flow motion kind of deal like you mentioned. And 3, it follows that whole really floaty aspect. And I know you're praising like the forms in that for the Keyblades. I still think swapping through Keyblades is cool. You get like your variety.
Yeah.
The transformations pop up so often. It kind of breaks the flow of combat.
That was a problem I had with the attraction.
Attractions as well.
Those, like, some of them, like the teacups, I was okay with, because they're pretty quick to get over with, and you can skip the sequences, and they attack. But like the pirate ship just takes too long.
Yeah.
And the
You're
angle
basically
that the
playing a
camera
30-second
shows
minigame.
Yeah, and the same for the carousel. The carousel's great if you want to avoid taking damage, like if you're in a serious situation. But it just takes forever. And I feel like sometimes when they showed up, it took me a good third to half of the game to realize that you can use L2 to like skip commands.
Yeah.
So I could always skip to just because I discovered it when I got Rage Mode, which comes up when you're about to die. And I remembered from Kingdom Hearts 2 that Rage Mode is one of those like double-edged swords, where it's a quick thing to recover, but it has long-lasting effects on how Sora progresses in the game. And so I tried to avoid using it as much as possible, and discovered that way that you can actually just skip commands and go straight to whichever one you feel, whether it's a partner command or if it's a transforming your Keyblade into something.
Yeah, it's a kind of cheapskate kind of deal. Something I really did like with the gameplay, though, was magic. Magic's been kind of overhauled, and it feels really, really good. Like, in previous Kingdom Hearts games, if you try to use magic while running, you'd stop right in place. In 3, you can carry your momentum. I think that's really nice. It helps it kind of makes magic useful. Sure, you could use magic in the past, but it would never be used to the degree that you can use it in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh yeah, no, I love magic in this game. Magic was the sort of base stat I went with at the beginning of the game, so that I could get some of the good Leaf Bracer early and stuff like that. And yeah, being able to just dash into Thundaga or Cure especially is really good. I do like how they've changed up as well magic recovery in this one. That certain magic attacks like Cure will instantly take out your MP, but it automatically comes back after a bit of time, whereas all of the actual physical attacks like Thundaga, Fireaga, Wartaga, all just take bits of the MP Gorge out.
I'm pretty sure that was the Kingdom Hearts 2 thing.
Was it in Kingdom Hearts 2 as well? Because I don't remember it being in Dream Drop Distance or Birth by Sleep.
Yeah, because the last time we had this kind of system was Kingdom Hearts 2.
Okay.
Kingdom Hearts 1 was just the 1-2 bars, but 2 it was the meter we have in 3.
Okay, because like I said, 2 was the first one I played, and I haven't actually played it since then.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time. But, okay then, that's... Well, I like that. I much prefer that system with magic as opposed to the one that they introduced. And the same goes for abilities. I much prefer the abilities in this game where you can... I felt like I could actually use everything. Unlike Birth by Sleep or especially 358 over half days, where you have to be super specific with what abilities you bring out. And if you have the wrong ones, then you have to go back and start the mission all over again.
I kind of agree, kind of don't. With 2, I really liked how their abilities were set up. I feel like there was a good range of finishing commands in that. It helped make combat feel fluid. You had a lot of options to choose from. In 3, I think there's 2 finish commands in total, or 3. It's 2 or 3. It feels like you're really limited with what you can do.
Well, there was something with abilities, and I was curious... So I said I chose magic at the beginning as when they do the ability offer early on. Which one did you go for?
I chose warrior. I was gonna choose mage or defense, but usually those are the easier runs. So I was like, hey, let's see what offense has the option.
See, I always go for offense, and this time I thought I'd go for magic, opposites. But it did something I did notice throughout the game is with Donald and Goofy. Is that Donald was constantly getting new abilities unlocked to the point that he didn't have enough AP to have them all equipped, but Goofy barely got anything. He very rarely got any skills. So he ended up having 30 blank AP spaces, whereas Donald was running out. And I was wondering whether or not that was an effect of me choosing Mage or not. So I was curious if you saw the same thing, if it was something you noticed.
I think they got about the same abilities on my side, but nothing was really useful. I do think Donald does get more because obviously all of them are fire boost, water boost, thunder boost.
That's true.
So that would make sense. It's not like Goofy's gonna get that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I just felt like it was slightly unbalanced, I guess, in that regard. Although I do think Donald is significantly better in this game than he has been in the other games. I never felt like he was wasting everything that he was given. He was actually attacking and curing when needed.
Yeah, I noticed that they do cures later now. They don't just do it right away when Sora's blinking. But also, before in Kingdom Hearts, Donald could always use heal from wherever in the room. He could only use heal in this game if you were in his range.
Oh yeah. It's the same for if you want to heal them as well, your partners. You have to be within range of them. That's something I learnt.
Because that was always the thing in 2. You always had to be around your partners to heal them. But Donald could always use it whenever, wherever.
Okay.
But it seems like they kind of united it for this game.
I guess that makes sense, but I never found it to be any sort of hindrance. I mean, it was to the point where the sections where I didn't have Donald and Goofy, I was I noticed I was struggling a lot more when it came to my magic and health and everything. So I appreciated the company this time, and the same for the other partners, even if some of them are better than others.
Definitely.
What about I guess the nature of the worlds this time. How each one, rather than being like small pocket areas, usually every world has between 2 to 3 just really big areas that you can explore.
There's some worlds I feel did very well with the whole idea. There's some places I feel really, really lacked. I'm not sure if we're going to go into that because spoilers and that.
We can mention it vaguely here. I think it's fine to mention which worlds did what size-wise, because I think everyone, unless they've been avoiding every single trailer, I think everyone knows what 9 Disney worlds are in this game.
So Twilight Town feels really small. It feels really, really small. Even in comparison to like Kingdom Hearts 2. I'm pretty sure in Kingdom Hearts 2 it was bigger.
Oh, it was bigger, yeah. I actually don't mind Twilight Town being small because it's one of the original worlds, and I never felt like it needed to be fully explored. Like in Kingdom Hearts 2 and 358 over 2 days, it's like you explore like the whole town, but you don't. I never felt like I don't need to visit the clock tower again. I don't need to go to the beach side on the other side of the city again, like you do in Kingdom Hearts 2. I think what they had in Twilight Town was fine, and I think that's partly because it was an original world. So I'd much rather spend time in the Disney world than running around an orange-looking city.
Well, my issue is I think everything felt way too condensed. Like everything in the one town area, I couldn't really move around without like seeing enough. It seemed like a hip job, whatever. Everything was like kind of just mashed together.
What, in Twilight Town specifically?
Yeah, in Twilight Town specifically, everything just seemed kind of pushed together.
I mean, it's the same layout and the same size as previous games. I think what maybe might be different this time is that there's actually NPCs and everything walking around and taking up space, which is something I actually really liked in this game. You get it in like the Disney worlds as well, like Hercules. There are actual NPCs and people.
It's nice to see like actual life around, because I remember there's like a famous quote from the Aladdin world in Kingdom Hearts 2. It's like Aladdin says like, "I'm here for the people, the excitement," and then like there's a cutscene that shows the empty town.
Yeah,
and it feels empty. Well, duh, because it's empty, but there's just nothing happening. That was nice about Kingdom Hearts 3, and like there's actual people walking around. You see like the life that each of these worlds have, sometimes at least. Well,
the ones that have actual towns and cities and people to populate them, yeah. But I quite appreciated that. In terms of world scale and all this, I feel like it's almost like, for the most part, it's really good, I think, having the bigger worlds. Because the loading screens in this game are just awful.
Yeah, and I honestly hate the social media screens you see in between. Like, you look at them, you see like Sora posting hashtags, and it's like, this isn't right.
It's also like, who's taking these photos? That was a better kick I got out of those parts, where it's like obviously just scenes from cutscenes, but you have like Riku talking about something with Mickey, where the shot is just an overhead shot of him and Mickey, and he's just posting nonsense from Radiant Garden. It's just like, what is going on? But the social media stuff, I slowly zoned out. It's the time thing that kills me, because when each of the big worlds are usually like, you go between them in like hour segments almost. Like the Tangled world is a good like focus for this, because you've got the massive forest that takes nearly 2 hours to get through, and then the town section. And so you don't feel the loading screen so much. But what I've discovered is going back to worlds when you're trying to find all the collectibles, like the lucky emblems and more treasure chests, and you're jumping between areas, you end up sitting in like really long loading screens every few minutes. And it's awful. Like, it kills the pace really badly, and it made me not want to go back and explore areas because of this, or at least made me plan my route out so that I would hit the least amount of loading screens as I went through it.
Another general thing that started kicking into me, there's a lot of pre-rendered cutscenes, and like they switch in and out every so often. It's kind of buggy to the eye. Because in the Pirates world, you see like one cutscene where Goofy's eyes are like you see the polys in that, but then the next scene is like, oh, everything is rounded out now and everything has a lot better lighting. You notice this a lot throughout the game.
See,
it switches in and out frequently.
See, it didn't bother me so much, and I quite like some of them, but I will say that the Pirates world, because I think everything's trying to look slightly more realistic in that world, because obviously it's based on a live-action movie. And I think with Donald and Goofy and Sora, even though they all still look like cartoon anime characters, they've also got, like, I feel like Donald's got more realistic feather-looking texture over him. And they have, like, slightly different lighting, and I think that makes it stand out more. Whereas, like, see, it's never an issue I had in, like, Hercules or Toy Story.
I wasn't talking about it like that. I wasn't talking about the styles of the worlds. So, if you look at, like, cutscenes, like, I'm trying to think of how to describe this.
No, I think I do know what you're talking about. When it jumps between pre-rendered and
that's
not
the main
pre-rendered,
idea.
it's noticeable. But what I was saying is I only really noticed it in worlds like Pirates of the Caribbean. I never really noticed it much in stuff like Hercules World. Unless it was like really like towards the end of the game where they start having many more pre-rendered scenes compared to earlier. Then when it's so frequent, it's fine. But when it's just a small one, it just wasn't something I picked up. It could be it could be that because I played the game in 720, it just didn't notice it as much because that's all my TV at home can go up to. And I'm perfectly willing to admit that maybe that's the reason why.
I noticed it a lot in Monsters Inc. It was a lot in the middle. Because when you're, like, swapping between doors and, like, you're on the, like, grind rail that you see in all the trailers, there's, like, a lot of, like, ending scenes where you see it switch right to pre-rendered with, like, the flow motion effects. And that's, like, what helps make it super noticeable. Big Hero 6 had it a lot.
Okay. I don't remember it in those, but to be fair, it may just not be something I was picking up on.
Yeah. But, like, one thing I do compliment the game on is, like, how many different styles they hit.
Yeah.
All on one game. Like you said, like Pirates, like they kind of meshed really well. If you compare it to Kingdom Hearts 2, Sora sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, that's very true.
But then you go here with 3, like they have new costumes, like their style fits in. I know someone did like a Photoshop early on. It was like Sora looks like he's from Bloodborne now. And like you look at all the styles mesh very well now, and I'm happy to see that.
Yeah, no, I think it's really good. I think the Toy Story world, they look really good as toys. Even like the Winnie the Pooh world, Sora has a slightly more cel-shaded effect that makes him look like he's been a 3D image drawn onto a book, as opposed to looking like just the normal Sora that you get in the Hercules or Big Hero 6 world. And even that's a really nice little touch that didn't need to be there. So, and I do think visually speaking, Kingdom Hearts, and especially like audio, musically speaking, Kingdom Hearts 3 is really, really good.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 like definitely does hit a lot of high points, but with music, I'm kind of disappointed. All the worlds have really, really nice music. Every field theme, every battle theme, everything sounds really nice. I started to like what was it? I really liked the music in Monsters. Toy Story I liked. And I really like the new boss theme that they started using in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
But to directly oppose that, I'm disappointed with the music. A lot of the songs in this game are remixes from previous titles. Every summon theme, that's a remix from a previous game, or a new remix of like an old song. A lot of like random battle themes for mob fights, those were old themes. Even like some of the bosses near the end of the game started reusing themes, and it's like it felt kind of like budget was spent in other places than others.
I mean, I think that's probably true. Although with some of them, I don't mind them reusing music when it's like, you know, fighting members of the organization and reusing their personal themes again, but remixed. Sort of makes sense to me. I quite like. I think the field themes were the main ones I really like. Like I really like the Arendelle theme. I feel like it's really whimsical and gives like a Christmassy vibe. Good for the snow level, and obviously the Toy Story field theme, which is "You've Got a Friend in Me," is automatically really good. Even like the Pirates of the Caribbean battle theme, which they've played in the trailers a few times, I really like. Although I did notice that they didn't use the one from the movie.
Yeah, he's a pirate. I'm upset they didn't.
I'm upset. I'm wondering. I'm assuming it must be a rights issue.
I would argue it's budget, but who knows? Honestly, it feels weird that they wouldn't have it because I feel Disney's been a lot more cooperative with this game than previous titles. But like, again, who knows? Who knows?
I mean, yeah, I don't know for sure, but seeing as they had the Winnie the Pooh theme and they also had the Toy Story theme, and they even had like Frozen songs, and that was all okay. I don't know why the Pirates of the Caribbean theme would be like the most missed out.
Yeah, it definitely seems weird. But if we want to transition to a bit more spoiler stuff, ooh, I have some stuff I want to talk about.
All right.
So
Let's
bring up a little world list. So
well, let me just for those who did want to avoid the spoilers, let's do the quick general spoiler-free impressions of the game, and then we'll just for people who just wanted to listen to this one, and then we can go full spoiler and start with your complaints.
All right.
So I guess your general spoiler-free impressions. Did you enjoy Kingdom Hearts 3? Was it like, did it live up to expectations? Did it not? Why? All of that stuff. Go for it.
Kingdom Hearts 3 definitely felt like it had that nice Disney magic that other titles really missed out on. But near the end, you start to lose that feeling. It feels like you're just going on and on. It's still a nice game, but I wouldn't say go all out of your way to like 100% it or anything. It feels like a one-time run through. Post-game doesn't feel like it's worth it.
Fair. I think I got similar views on it. I seem to enjoy the combat a lot more than you did in this game, and I really enjoyed the presentation and music. But yeah, it's not. It certainly can't be your first Kingdom Hearts game. And towards the second half of the game, I feel like stuff really begins to show where they may have had budget issues or time issues or anything like that. And there are particular points that you'll go over in the spoiler stuff that like just really rubbed me the wrong way. I still enjoyed the game, and I still enjoyed playing it through. I thought it was a little easier than the previous games, but I'm also... That could just be because I'm now 10 games into this series. I understand the combat and I know how to play it. But the post-game, with all the loading screens and all that, it just feels like more of a hassle. And I guess one thing we didn't talk about was the gummy ship sections.
Oh, yeah, gummy ships. I guess to like lightly tap upon it. I know people compared it to another Square Enix title. I forgot what they said,
I don't know
but like
which one.
Yeah, I would need to look back, but in general, it was okay. I know a lot of people enjoyed it because like you can definitely customize your ship a lot more than you could in previous titles. But in general, I didn't care enough to look through it all.
No, I was kind of the same. I enjoyed it at the beginning because I felt like it was probably the best gummy ship sections the series has ever had. And I enjoyed the first area, just having the ability to freely explore and look around. But then, just as the game went on, I cared less and less about it and just started beelining to the next Disney World. But yeah, I think the gummy ship sections, if you're into that kind of thing and you're into the customization, are pretty fun. But otherwise, it's just average.
Okay, I don't know how to pronounce it, but the game is Einhander for PlayStation 1.
Okay, I've not heard it.
It was a game when they were still Squaresoft, but people I saw kept on comparing it to this, and like just looking over the base pictures, I can see it.
Oh, okay, I'll have to look up after, because I have no idea. I've never heard of that game before. But yeah, my final impressions, it's a good game. I enjoyed it. I don't think it's the best Kingdom Hearts game, but it definitely looks and feels gameplay-wise really, really nice. So with that, thank you all for watching for this spoiler-free section Shout out to the Duke of Dorks and all of that, and let's jump straight. Let's just jump straight into the spoiler talk then.